Good afternoon. Welcome to one more edition of our weekly program, Multicultural Society. After 75 programs discussing different issues about cultural diversity in all around the world, this week we are going to prepare and to discuss the last polemical law approved by the Brazilian government, the quota system in the access to the public university in Brazil. The beginning of the discussion starts with some statistical information. Almost the 45% of the Brazilian population is African descendants, but this group represents only 19% of the whole university population. In that sense, there is a clear inequality between the distribution of the seats between white students and African descendants. To mitigate this situation, the Brazilian government, through an affirmative action, is trying to increase the representation of this specific minority group in the public universities, assigning a quota, usually the 10% of the whole seats to the African descendants. If on one hand, the group who are supporting this view argue that with his policy, this inequality between privileged and the people who has less opportunities will decrease, on the other hand, the group against this action say that this is the only way to maintain the conservatism and also the conformity, decreasing the level of education and discriminating the personal merits. This kind of governmental action is not new. We can find a lot of historical examples, but this specific case has an important meaning due to the dimension and the consequence. Beyond this affirmative action, a polemical situation arises, and also the racial discrimination increases. Trying to understand the situation in Brazil and the different opinions, we will talk first of all with the government. We are in a satellite connection with Lula. Let's see what he has to tell us. Hello, Mr. Lula. Good afternoon. What's the aim of the government with the creation of the quota system?
Bom, nós sempre lutamos pelo direito das minorias, né? É um compromisso do nosso governo. Com o sistema de cota, a nossa intenção é apagar os efeitos da discriminação do passado e promover a igualdade de oportunidades entre as pessoas.
Do you think this is an effective solution to the problem?
Bom, acho que a curto prazo há uma solução adequada no sentido de que não podemos resolver de um dia para o outro o problema da educação pública brasileira. Mas temos, por outro lado, que tomar medida imediata para não perder o grande potencial de alguns grandes jovens que pertencem a uma minoria desfavorecida e que são também, com certeza, o futuro do nosso país.
Thank you, Mr. Lula. This was the position of the government. Let's move to the academic world. What's the position of the universities? Our collaborator in Brazil, Jessica Sanchez, is there to highlight the situation.
Yes, hi Reno. We are in the University of Brasilia to know the opinion of academic world about the polemical law established by the government. I am with the Rector Magnificus to deep a bit more in this problem. Hi, Mrs. Sousa. What's the position of the university about this affirmative action?
I think it's a very good action. I think it's necessarily for a country like Brasilia to use all the talent that's in our huge country, and I think it's necessarily that everybody has equal access to higher education, and it's a very good case for the cultural diversity in our country. It also has to be found at higher education, at the university.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Sousa. This is the opinion of the university, but what is happening in the street? Our program has gone this morning to the city to know what the people affected really think. It seems that today the weather in Brazil doesn't cooperate with us. We are in the street to know the opinion of population about the problem with quota systems. What do you think about the problem of quota system?
I disagree with the current system and the way it's being used. I feel it could be easier to give quotas, but then to fund the preliminary schools on a much higher level than today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have money to pay a private university. It's too expensive. So the government is thinking in us. But why I have to lose this opportunity?
I think we should improve the participation of black students at our public universities. But how could we know who is black to apply correctly in the quota system?
I'm getting my bachelor this year, and I never had class with a black student in my university. This is not the real image of Brazil.
I don't understand why should some unqualified people take my place for an unjust law of this government who do not respect its citizens. Okay?
What do you think about the quota system in Brazil?
I don't feel so different from the black people population. I think we are all the same. So, however, I know that there is there are less opportunities for the black people to access to the higher education. So, but I think this law it's quite right to create a way for equal opportunity.
Sorry, what do you think
I don't mind, I don't care.
Well, when there are racial and social inequalities, the state has an obligation to guarantee some equality of opportunities. In this case, I think quotas are one way of correcting inequalities.
Mais chamba e menos trabalhar.
O bico do beija-flor, beija-flor, beija-flor. E toda a fauna, flora grita de amor. Quem segura o porta-estandarte tem arte, tem arte.
We don't need favor. The quota system is just a paternalistic act. It's a backstep in the fight for the black people to be recognized. With this action, white people could never consider us as an equal. We don't need favor.
What do you think about the quota system created by the government?
I am an indigenous descendant and I belong to a minority group too. So I am asking why the government not create another quota system for another minorities groups.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for you.
Okay, this was the opinion of the people of the street. Jessica Sanchez, Grote TV, Brazil.
This was the view of the different groups, but beyond all this argumentation, some questions arise. Is this a problem of race, or is it only a problem of being poor? Is the class more important than the race in Brazil? Could this affirmative action be used from the government as an electoral weapon to approach and get minority votes? The discussion is open.
Just thinking about my baby, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Thinking of being my baby, doesn't matter if you're black or white. You're thinking of being my brother, doesn't matter if you're black or